want to make this this video talking about the Texas border and what's going on down there, as far as it relates to Bible prophecy. But before I do that, I'm going to start off saying Kal Halayim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, to Elder Harwan of the Jacksonville Lions Den. Shalom, shalom to the Akim out here pushing the word in all truth, sincerity. Shalom to the Akim Aqua scattered throughout the four corners of Yasharallah. So a lot of talk has been going on about the Texas border control, or the Texas border, and how they're trying to control the illegal, what they call illegal migration that takes place along the border. So there's the governor down there, as it says here on the screen. Greg Abbott has he has a lot of support, okay, in his efforts to stop migration across their borders, and of course the federal government is saying you can't do that. They have certain policies in place to where they allow all this migration across their borders, but of course most of it comes through Texas because it's right there at the border with Mexico. All right, that the place that they call Mexico today. Now, if you look at the map here, he's got a lot of support, right? He's got the support of or Greg Abbott. I'm going to say Greg Abbott and the leaders of the state of Texas have a lot of support. This isn't every single person in Texas that is going along with this. Just like the allied states, every person in those states is an allied with what's going on. But it's the leadership, right? The leadership signs off on it, and then their state is dragged in for better or worse, good or bad. But if you look at the map here, he's got a lot of support, okay? And even in the blue states, there is support for what's going on down in Texas, man. And a lot of people are just looking for some drama, but there are real political, and socioeconomic, there's going to be real fallout from this thing, Well, let me just go ahead and get a scripture right here. This is out of Mark, because what's going on. Ultimately, this is internal battle, and Esau's always had these internal battles, man. These Idumeans have had these quarrels, skirmishes amongst themselves, since their inception, man. Okay, since their inception, and it reads in the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables. Let me start off at verse 22. And the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, He hath Beelzebub, and by the prince of the devils casteth he out devils. They're talking about Yahweh Shai right here. Okay, the scribes are talking about Yahweh Shai. Verse 23, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Okay, so we know that we're in the last period of this kingdom, okay, of Babylon. All right, and we know America is the virgin daughter, okay, the virgin daughter of Babylon, right? And it is It's downright satanic. Okay, everything that's going on day in and day out. We see it playing out even on a local level. Uh, People are bugged out of their mind. Uh, People become more violent. Hatred is going up. You know, Wickedness is at an all-time level with the alphabet soup communities. You know, Basically doing whatever it is they want to do and getting away with it. And it's having a trickle down effect into the children. The women, have all but lost every bit of mental capacity that they once had. So they just out there flapping, getting away with anything. Wearing anything, and people are okay with it. So everything's just at an all-time high in terms of wickedness. And it's because this place is run by people who are under, let's say, a satanic spirit. Okay, a spirit of wickedness, man. All right, it said, verse 24, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. So this place is about to fall. Okay, you look at the map right here. It's almost an even split. There's actually more support for what's going on down in Texas than against it. Okay, but it's almost an even split. So that's a kingdom divided. Okay, almost right down the middle. So it said, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. All right, so point blank period, this place is at its end, and this is giving credence to that fact. Just look at the map right here. This is going to be a civil war. Okay, a civil war. Push come to shove. Okay, I think it was about a week ago. Maybe not a full week ago, but it was said that, or maybe it was a little bit more than a week ago. But in the news, it was said, Biden had reached out and said, open up the borders, stop what you're doing, or else. And so the governor replied to Biden, or else what? Hey man, those those are fighting words right there, straight up. Those are fighting words, man. Somebody tell you to stop doing something, or else. That's fighting words right there. But then you reply, or else what? It's going down. Okay. Now again, these guys, this is a little internal skirmish. Okay. This is what these guys like to do. All right. It's called posturing. Right. I'm gonna puff up. Okay. Then you gonna puff up. Then I'm gonna puff up a little bit more. Then you gonna puff up a little bit more. And that's what they like to do, man. Okay. And in the end, many times when it comes to these political things, many times nothing happens, right? But it may very well go down. All right. It may very well go down. Okay. And if that's the case, we're going to see it play out very soon. Very soon. All right. But ultimately, this was it was said that this is going to happen. Matter of fact, let me jump up a few chapters. All right, and this is Mark chapter 13. Okay, this is talking about future prophecy right here. Okay, when Yahushua is talking about these things, he was talking about a future events. Okay, so this is Mark chapter 13, start at verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, "Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled?" Okay, because they had just, went out of the temple, as you read in the first verse. Okay, and his disciples were talking to him about the buildings and look at the stones and just say, oh, it's unbelievable. Look at how this looks. The grandeur of it, right? And in verse 2, Yahushua answered, said, "Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down." Okay, and we know that that in 70 A.D. Destruction came upon Jerusalem. Okay, and these temples were destroyed. Okay, but this is also alluding to a future prophecy, even in a time much further away from them. Okay, far into the future, as far as that time was concerned. All right, but I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 5, and Yahushua answering them began to say, "Take heed, lest any man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet." Okay, the end shall not be yet. Okay, so we know that when, in 70 A.D., when Jerusalem was ransacked, okay, that was not the end. Okay, there were still things that took place after that, and Israel is still here today. Okay, Israel is still here today. So we as a people were not destroyed, and so of course that the end was not yet, just like Yahushua spoke of. Okay, but we are getting towards the end. All right, are there not wars and rumors of wars? I mean, look what's going on right now. The world literally is at war. Okay, and there's still things that could pop off right here in the U.S. with the Civil War. Okay, things could pop off with the U.S. and Russia. Things could pop off with the U.S. and China. Okay, but notice the common denominator in all this is U.S. All right, the so-called U.S. Babylon the Great. Okay, and the virgin daughter. Okay, so we understand that this was talking about a future prophecy here in Mark. All right, verse 8 of chapter 13, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows." The beginnings of sorrows, okay? And these things have already happened over the past 15 to 20 years. It's become, more and more apparent, but famine has been going on for decades now. Okay, severe famines. All right, several earthquakes in the past decade and over the past couple decades. Okay, nation against nation. All right, but take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them. Okay, so this is going to be happening. This is already happening in times past. Okay, our people brought before rulers and kings. Okay, in the time of slavery. All right, tried for just being uh, the children of Israel. Okay, for just being the children of Israel, and it being prophesied that these things would take place. Delivered up to council. Okay, delivered before kings to plead our case for what? Simply for freedom. All right. You see that in the movie Amistad, right? It says verse 10, and the gospel must first be published among all nations. So that's what the brothers are doing now. That's what the elders have been doing for decades. Okay, that's what was happening in the time of King James. All right, when he authorized this book that we now have to be written and published. Okay, the gospel had to be published among all nations. Okay, and it still has to the word still has to go out. All right, and of course this whole chapter goes into what's going to happen, the affliction that's going to take place, the tribulation that's got to come upon this land, and then ultimately Yahweh Shai is going to come back in the clouds. All right, with his angels. Okay, and the hopeful elect are going to be delivered out of the tribulation and out of the time that's coming upon this place. Okay, but you're going to have to go through it. When I say going to be delivered out of it, not delivered from it, going to be delivered out of it. In other words, want to be in it. Okay, you have to be in something to be delivered out of it. All right. So for any so-called Christian to say I'm not going to have to go through anything, that's complete nonsense. Matter of fact, let me get it. It comes straight out of the scriptures. Let me see. All right, let me start at verse 19. This is Mark chapter 13, verse 19. For in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation which Yahweh created unto this time, neither shall be. And except that the Lord Yahweh Shai had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he hath chosen, he hath shortened the days. Okay, so he shortened these days simply for the elect's sake. Okay, the time's going to be so bad on Esau. Okay, the Idumean, with all his wicked nonsense, is going to have done so much that if Yahweh Shai, all right, the Lord Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai, had not shortened these days, man, no flesh would make it. Okay? In other words, the Idumean would destroy every damn thing. That's just how wicked they are, man. They're like mad scientists. Okay? They have no filter, man. None whatsoever. No filter. They just keep going and going and going with their madness, man. Experimenting on different viruses, experimenting with different diseases, using this animal as a lab rat, using that animal, okay, until they get to human trials, okay, which usually is experimenting on those less fortunate, okay, homeless, taking in homeless jakes, okay, homeless foreigners, all right, people already in mental hospitals, people already in hospitals, period. Okay, taking organs to experiment with these viruses, diseases, or using a whole population, man. Listen, I've heard stories from people in the military about how they did experiments on whole cities. Would take a plane, okay, or a helicopter and do a flyover and drop a foreign body over a whole foreign body, meaning a virus or disease or something like that, and drop it over a whole city or a whole community. Okay, down in southern parts of Florida, releasing mutant freaking mosquitoes over whole populations. This is what these Idumeans do, man. They are mad scientists, and they have no filter. When it comes to wickedness, they have no filter whatsoever. And they do it all in the name of science. It's not in the name of science, man. It's the name of Hasatan. Okay? Straight up and down. That's who they take their orders from, man. Okay? At the very top, that's who they take their orders from. And then that they have certain people who then they give that information to, and it makes it all the way down to the level of states, counties, okay, cities. So yes, this whole place is run and operating under the spirit of Hasatan, man. All right, but Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai are in control, man. All right, that's why it says there in verse 20, and except that the Lord Yahweh had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. Okay, the Lord Yahweh had shortened the days, man, because He knows these people are mad, and they have no filter, man. If the time was to go on forever as they wish it to, okay, they would destroy the whole earth, and then they think like they're gonna run down into their bunkers and rebuild it in their fashion, okay, which is simply a fashion of wickedness. They have no ability to operate, okay, and I'm getting a little off subject. I'm gonna bring it back, but they have no ability to operate in sync with nature or even with themselves. Look at what's going on in Texas or in the U.S. right now with the Texas border. They can't even come to an agreement about one state's borders. You see the map right here. They split down the middle. Okay? As far as the numbers are concerned, they're split down the middle. They can't even agree on that amongst themselves. So like I was reading earlier, these people are divided, man. And they think they're going to rebuild the whole world, okay, in their fashion, in their likeness. Absolutely not, man. That's confusion. There would be nothing but confusion as it is right now. Okay? And the Most High is not the author of confusion, man. Okay. But again, chapter 13, it goes on. Let me get this real quick. Man, we shall see these things. But in those days, I'm going to just jump back up. Verse 21, and then if any man shall say to you, lo, here is Hamashiach, or lo, he is there, believe him not. For false Christs and false prophets shall rise and shall show signs and wonders to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. Okay, they got holograms and giant. I think they can project a hologram on a giant, some kind of way they can do it, man, where they got like a giant, and it'll look like a person or something like that. Some crazy stuff, man. They got weather control. They can bring up storms with using weather manipulation tactics and machines. Okay, so these are signs and wonders, to deceive the people. Okay, Esau wants to be like Yahweh, all right, like the Most High. So they've come up with all sorts of contraptions and put together different magic potions. That's what all these viruses and diseases are, man. These guys, like I said, they're mad scientists, witches and warlocks. Instead of wearing black, robes, they just wear white robes and call it a lab coat. Okay, it's nothing but a witch's robe. All right, and they sit around and mix up potions and stuff. They call it science, and mixing chemicals and stuff. It's all potion, man. All right, magic potions. And then what do? They put it in food. All right, like back in the day, they used to. It was an apple. Okay, give it to somebody and they kill them. They just put it in some chips now. All right. I mean, it's all in the name. They call them voodoo chips. All right. All right, the Akim and Aquath have seen it in the stores. Voodoo chips. What do you think is in them? Magic potions to kill your ass off. Okay, they don't even try to hide it anymore. The wickedness is so great now. They don't even try to hide it. They just call it what it is. All right. They say signs and wonders to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. Verse 23. But take heed, behold, I have foretold you all things. But in those days after that tribulation, after that tribulation, okay. All right. Now I didn't read every verse, but you can read all the things that are going to happen. And it talks about in other books as well, all the tribulation that's going to happen to this place. Okay. But in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. All right, so I go. I'll say that. Bring it back. All right. And the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Verse 26. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. Okay? So after the tribulation, then all the children of Israel, okay, of the elect are going to be gathered. All right? Not before. All right? So we're going to go through the tribulation, all right? And Lord willing, I'll be one of that number, okay? And if you read down, he's going to say, I tell you, watch. And that's what we're doing, man. All right? We watching, we hoping, we praying to be part of that number that is gathered, all right, out of this place by Yahweh shot, okay? To be delivered up with him, because this place is going to burn, man. Okay? This place is going to burn with the fervent heat. With the fervent heat. All right? And be utterly destroyed. Now, not destroyed to the point where the earth is just going to vanish. Okay? I mean, it's but it's going to melt the elements. The scripture says it's going to melt the elements. All right? In other words, Yahweh's got to terraform this place. All right? Yahweh Shai got to terraform this planet. All right? And in order for any of that to happen, the elements themselves have to be melted away. Because Esau has the Idumean has got his dirty, sticky paws into everything. Okay, into everything: the water, the earth, the insects, grass. All right, animals. Okay. And most of that has got to be destroyed, and the very elements along with that has got to be destroyed in order for this thing to be made anew under Yahweh Shai, okay, and the elect of Israel. Okay, so terraforming has got to take place. And you see that in movies, man. You saw it in the movie Superman. I think the latest one, or the latest iteration of Superman. Okay, what did General Zod do? He wanted to come and terraform this place. Okay, I believe to make it into a new Krypton. All right, and of course they get the poser Kal-El. All right, go figure. It's a Hebrew name. Go figure, Kal-El. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but they get him to stop his homeboy again, another internal skirmish. All right, but they get him to stop General Zod from terraforming this place. But why was that was the point? Why was General Zod wanting to terraform this place? Because he understood that if I'm going to make this place anew, I got to destroy everything that these imbeciles have created. Okay, I can't build on top of their nonsense. Okay, that would be confusion. Okay, I've got to destroy it and then rebuild. All right, destroy and rebuild. Right. All right. Well, that idea comes straight from Yahweh Shai. Okay, he's going to destroy this place and rebuild. Okay, destroy it as it is right now and rebuild it in his likeness and in his image, under his only begotten son's rulership. Okay, and the rulership of the elect under that. Okay, but I want to get some other scriptures, because one other thing I want to point out with this, like I've already said before, this is an internal thing with Esau, but it's affecting Jake. All right, and the children of Israel. Okay, the northern tribes, some of the southern tribe. You got Haitians who have left Haiti, okay, on boats and even on foot, going into parts of so-called Central and South America, coming up, trying to get up into the U.S. through Mexico. So it's not just northern tribe, all right, so-called Mexicans, Guatemalans, Colombians, so on and so forth, Venezuelans, trying to get up through the border pass. Okay, you also have some of the southern tribe mixed in with these guys trying to get up. Okay, so this is really affecting Jake. It's an internal skirmish amongst Esau, the Idumeans, but it's also affecting Jake heavily. And I want to get that where that's at in Scripture. We knew, again, like Yahweh said, he has foretold of these things. This is nothing. That we weren't made aware of. Okay, for those who have been given understanding, have read and asked the Most High for the wisdom to understand what they've read, and had teachers, under the spirit of Yahweh Shai to teach. We understand these things. We were foretold these things, so this is nothing new. We know that this comes straight out of Scripture. Let me get this. All right. Let's see here. All right, so let me find out where I have that. Yeah, I believe this is it. Bring plagues. As a matter of fact, I had it pulled up. Let me see. Let me pull it up right here. Nah. Okay, yeah, Second Ezra. So I was in Second Ezra 15. I was trying to get to the verse, the specific verse that I had, but let me just go ahead and read it from here. Because again, this is going to be about control. If Texas is successful in this, I think the word I was looking for earlier, I was just meditating on this, and there was something that I was thinking about with regards to this whole unfolding, and I was like, Texas has always been one to give the republic some trouble, right? And I think the word is seceding, not succeeding, but seceding. And if I'm incorrect, I'll go back and put it in the comments or in the description. But I think the word is seceding. In other words, they can leave the republic. They don't have to be a part of the U.S. anymore. Okay. So if Texas is successful in seceding from the republic, okay, then what you may have is other states do the same thing. Now, if that happens, then they will have ultimate control. Governors will have pretty much ultimate control over their state. Now, what do you think that's going to do? that ultimate control is going to trickle down to the county and city level, to where they're going to have control over the each and every city. Okay, they'll have control over each and every city. So the governor will be now, in a lead position to say, okay, this is what goes in my state. All right. Not only this is what goes, this is who can come and go. Right. Because we have to understand that the Idumean wants total control. All right. He wants total control. He wants to be like the Most High. So he wants total control. Okay. And they would want nothing more than to bring every state under their total control. And then ultimately, once everybody is aligned, then they'll form their one world control. Okay. It will be a lot easier, all right, for these devils to impress upon the people exact control on the local level, and then bring everybody under the same umbrella, than from them to try to do it from the top. Okay. From them to try to do it from the top, say somewhere over there in Europe, and exact total control on every citizen of the world. That wouldn't work. Okay, so you get everybody to take control on the local level, and then bring everybody then into that umbrella. But I'm gonna just read this out of the scriptures right here. This is 2 Ezra chapter 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's these wars. Okay, the modern day sword is the rifle or the firearm. Okay, and you see them standing up in Ukraine. You see them standing up in Russia. You see them standing up in China and Korea. You see us standing up, okay, on this side, the so-called say the Idumean and Esau standing up on this side. Okay, with the U.S. All right, and their swords. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. Okay? And invading one another. Just this past week, okay, you've had convoys. Okay, convoys. I've seen them. I saw them with my own eyes. Okay? All right? As they say, no cap. I've seen them with my own eyes. I saw a convoy coming out of South Carolina. Okay? And I say it started in South Carolina because all the license plates had South Carolina on them. It was well over 20 cars deep. I would say it was at least 30 vehicles deep in a convoy. All right. One after the other, going down to Texas. And this has been documented. You've even had them from North Carolina going down to this place, the most recent city in the news, Eagle Pass. All right, you can look it up. Going down to Eagle Pass, Texas. All right, looking for a skirmish, looking for trouble, looking for somebody to pop off and say, y'all can't, protect your borders. So-called protect your borders. Protect for what? All right. You got men, women, and children. Maybe there's more men at a certain time or whatever the case may be. But hey, all they're trying to do is get across. Now, what they gonna do when they get across? Anybody's guess. Right? But they're definitely not coming with the amount of firepower that would be needed to exact any real change, right? So what could they possibly do when they get across the border? All right, but they're coming down there from North Carolina, from South Carolina, Florida, probably some people from Florida, other states. I mean, they're just coming looking to support and protect the border, so-called protect the border. All right, and they got what? Their swords drawn, their swords in their hands. All right, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Greg Abbott told President Biden, or else what? Okay, so he doesn't uh, uh, have that level of respect. Okay, he doesn't regard the king or the ruler. All right, of the republic. Okay, no respect, no regard. It says, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Listen, if there was uh, uh, something that Biden was going to do, I guess I guess maybe he thought twice. I guess maybe he thought twice. So Greg Abbott, governor of Texas, guess what? His actions stood in his power. All right, he stood on his business. And well, I guess Biden didn't stand on his because the man said, or else what? Biden said, or else. Greg Abbott said, or else what? And Biden just twiddling his thumb. Or else I'll just sit here, I guess, right? Is what he said. So this is Bible prophecy playing out. Verse 17: a man shall desire to go into a city. Well, wait a minute. Now this is even more descriptive and more telling. See, this is a living book. I say to people all the time, this is a living book, okay? And other brothers, all right, the Akim say it all the time. This is a living book, man. It's a living word, right? It speaks to the times that we're in even today. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. They're trying to go into Eagle Pass. They're trying to get into a city, all right? The northern and southern tribes, all right? So-called Negroes, Latinos are trying to get into Eagle Pass, okay, right now, and they're not able. And understand something. Like I say, if Texas is successful, then other states are going to follow suit. They're going to want to exact, control on their borders, and they're going to want to stop, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans from entering and exiting their states, from crossing their borders without some sort of pass or without some sort of ID. All right, you're going to have the real ID. All right, or you're going to have the RFID. Micro. Okay, you're going to have these things in order to just go from one place to another. Right now, you have to have an ID for quote unquote commerce. Right? They say that's why you need an ID. Even though nobody's really, doing commerce, even to travel the roads. But they say that's why you got to have it. They're going to say, well, now you got to have it, all right, because we say so. And if they're given that exact control, who's going to be able to stop them? Okay? Texas is doing it right now. Nobody's stopping them. Their actions are standing in their power, like the scripture said it would be. This is the tribulation that we're coming into. This is the tribulation that Yahushua was speaking about. And this is what it's talking about right here. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay? Because of their pride. All right? Biden said, or else, and Greg Abbott in his pride said, or else what? Okay? And because he's done this, now Eagle Pass is troubled about it. They say, they're 90% so-called Latino. Okay, I don't know why why they would call themselves that. Okay, but it's all so-called, right? So-called Latino, so-called Hispanic. They don't want these folks coming down from North Carolina. Okay, doggone Appalachian Mountain men coming down from North Carolina. Okay. Now, North Carolina is a blue state, but guess what? They got a lot of supporters for Trump. Okay, and a lot of you know, well, they got a lot. I'm not going to use the word. I'm not going to say hate, but they can't stand Biden. All right, they just can't stand Biden, even if they don't love Trump that much. They just can't stand Biden, even though it's a blue state. Okay, when you look at the political politics of it, governors, senators, all that garbage, right? It's considered a blue state, but they got a lot of support for Trump up there. Okay, and they can't stand Biden. So guess what? They're going to support Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott standing up to the person we don't like. Okay, so he has now become their friend. In Tennessee, South Carolina, again, these places will do that same thing if Texas is successful. Okay, make no mistake. Make no mistake. So because of Greg's pride, now Eagle Pass and other cities in Texas are in trouble. Okay, the houses shall be destroyed. Okay, if it gets heated, I don't know how heated it's gotten. I don't know if shots have been fired, okay, or any of that has happened. But there are some houses that are going to be destroyed because of this, or the fallout from this, okay, allegedly, right? Okay, it's right here in the scripture, though. It's right here in the scripture. All right, it's right here in the scripture. So men shall be afraid, and yes, there are those. If you look at the stories, there are those in Eagle Pass who are afraid, okay, allegedly, of what's going to happen. Okay, not of what might happen, but will happen. There are those who are afraid because they're what, 90 to 95% so-called Hispanic. All right, and there are those who are coming down there with itchy fingers. Okay, itchy fingers and sweaty palms. Guess what? They're afraid too, but they're looking for drama. Why? Because the mad scientist, all right, the mad scientist Esau, the Idumean, okay, and the crazy Karen of the Idumeans, guess what, man? They cannot stop. So I'm not gonna draw on much longer. This actually turned out to be a little bit longer than I thought, but it's all in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. Just wanted to take this story and flesh it out based on what the scriptures have said about this time that we're moving into, because this is not just a story that's happenstance. We know that there are no coincidences. There's nothing that's just happening by chance. Everything is ordered by Yahweh Shai. So hopefully, Lord willing, some were edified with that. Say shalom.